of our SASA story night, and I see wonderful friends, and I see some new faces, which is fabulous, and we've got 4 fantastic tellers. I'd like to say thank you to the guilds who are here from all over Texas. I know, raise your hand if you're from the North 40, past Dallas area. Yay! Thank you.
Just a minute.
Folks might be here. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, good. And then if there's any other guilds, thank you all so much for being here. If you're brand new and not sure that what storytelling is all about, we have guilds all over the state of Texas. San Antonio Guild, of course, is right in San Antonio. We meet at the Brook Hollow Public Library the first Wednesday of every month. And I am Sue Kuntz, and I'm the president of our SASA organization. But please, wherever you are, there are guilds all over Texas. We'd love for you to be part of any of our guilds. We're all, I suspect, on Facebook. We are, and we have our website, San Antonio Storytellers. So please look us all up, because stories are so important, if not more now than ever before. So please be part of the power of story. We need you all. I'd like to also say thanks very quickly to our SASA board members who are helping us out tonight. John, who just took his hat off, and Karen, that's John Hale, Karen Archer Wave. They're both helping us out with the Zoom tonight. We are going to be recording this. Fingers crossed, this will be our first time to record it. And hopefully those of you who missed it, or you have friends who would like to see it, hopefully we'll be able to tell you where to go to get it. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. We have 4 of the most fabulous storytellers in the whole world who graciously said yes, they would tell tonight. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start with our very own Larry Thompson, who not only was the president of SASA years ago, but he was president of the Tejas Storytelling Association. He is huge storyteller when it comes to cowboy poetry and personal tales and folk tales. So without further ado, let's go outside and meet Larry, where he's going to be the best of the best. Hands up to Larry.
I hope everyone can hear. You know, I'm on my phone and I'm outside and there's a big gray cloud over the top of me. And you know, we never complain about rain in these parts, but I'll share something new with you. This is a tale I call Parmalee, and it goes like this. In the days of the open range, when the cowboy plied his trade and disputes were often settled with a bullet or a blade, lived a man of ill repute. With a fortune he had made, he was polished and he was well heeled, and his name was Parmalee. In the bars and the gaming rooms all across the Wild West, his prowess at taking pots marked him the very best. Now his game was downright simple. He'd just sit with a dusty cowpoke. He'd take his cash through cheat and fraud. Now he's still dusty, but now he's broke. Parmalee, that mud would yell, I'm saying you're a cheat. This hand of 8s and aces is impossible to beat. And then that cowpoke would draw down as he leaped up from his seat, but with his lightning fast right hand, Parmalee would deal defeat. Now pretty ladies trailed Parmalee everywhere he went, just like a pack of hounds that had crossed upon his scent. And he could have had them all, but his love was yet unspent, till his eyes fixed on Wanda, and he fell hard without repent. Wanda's dark red hair did shine, her skin was clear and bright, her blue eyes cut right through him, and her dress fit oh so right. But Parmalee was stunned to learn Wanda's heart was hitched up tight to a sheep herd named Leroy. How she filled him with delight. But Parmalee was circumspect. Leroy weren't no dusty hand. Could he somehow cut her tether before Leroy made his stand? Now, could Parmalee be that sneaky? Could he set Wanda unmanned? Or would Wanda wed Leroy as the two of them had planned? And so, in the days of the open range, when the cowboy earned a wage and disputes were often settled by a noose out on the sage, a clandestine plan was hatched as Parmalee set the stage to win fetching Wanda's heart with Leroy broke and disengaged. Parmalee set up a game and drew Leroy out to play and made sure the odds had favored the card shark that day. Clever shuffle tricks he used to make the deals go his way. And Leroy's purse was running low with but one card left to play. Now the villain saw his chance and called out, did Parmalee, without additional stake. This final hand can't be played. Perhaps you'd care to offer up the hand of your fair maid. And Leroy paused and then agreed, and the final ante-up was made. So down to that final hand, Parmalee knew the cards he dealt. He'd given Leroy a pair of twos, and the win was his, he felt. Before he bet, Parmalee slipped his hand down to his belt, made sure his colt was loose if blood was to be spilt. And Parmalee drew Leroy's bluff and pushed all in for his raise. Leroy played it cool and called with a twinkle in his gaze. And with a smirk, he showed his cards, which set Parmalee to blaze, because he knew his full house came up short when he seen what Leroy plays. When Parmalee seen that hand with a queen from every suit, he knew that he'd been swindled, and he grabbed for all the loot. Them ain't the cards I dealt you. Parmalee drew and aimed to shoot, but Leroy just grinned and said, I know. And he pulled his pistol from his boot. And so, in the days of the open range, when the cowboy plied his trade, and disputes were often settled with a bullet or a blade, there's a man of disrepute in a coffin wooden made, neath a swollen mound of dirt and a cross marked Parmalee. The end. Now you got to turn the unmute off on everybody there, Mr. Hale.
All right, you did this all well. Exactly what Texas is all about, Larry. Our next teller, she is such a wonderful friend of all of the San Antonio Storytellers. She was here with us for what seemed like 2 or 3 years. We loved her so much. She gave us so much knowledge, stories, friendship, her computer video wizardry. She is amazing, and we fell in love with her. And then she decided to move with her handsome husband to Georgia. because her husband's in the Army. And we miss her desperately, but how wonderful to have Zoom available for us now, and we can all talk and still communicate. I wanted to make sure you guys see this book. I'm hoping that Carolina, look at this. Whoop. Carolina will talk about it. She is also an author now. She's so young, but she's done it all. She's an author also, and the illustrations in this particular Aztecian book is amazing. I'll let her talk about it. She's also doing some wonderful things with the internet, and I'm going to let her brag about that right now. If y'all don't mind raising your hands for Carolina Quiroga-Stultz. Yay!
Hey everyone, it's so good to be here today again. Can you all hear me well? Awesome. So as Sue was saying, I'm an author. I self-published my book, The Hungry Goddess and the Five Sons. And the illustrations are like in the same way the Aztec people, the Mexica people illustrate their pictographic books. I don't know if you can see them. So, and the book is in English, but it has some parts in Spanish or phrases and stuff like that. But what I wanted to talk today about is my new program on YouTube. It's called Story Tips. It's telling engaging, effective, and powerful stories. And the reason I wanted to do a little bit of publicity is because twice a month we interview a storyteller or an author or a teacher, performer. And today it was Sue Kunz. So her interview is on my YouTube channel, which is Carolina Storyteller. I also posted on my Facebook, Carolina Storyteller, on Instagram. I think I posted it on SASA's website, but I'm not an administrator anymore, so I really don't know if it goes into the feed or if it gets lost. I don't know. But this is a great opportunity for you guys to support one of your fellow storytellers. And I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about Sue. So go check the video, go put a lot, give it a thumbs up, write some nice comments about what Sue shared with us, so we can grow the program. And I hope that in the future, the rest of you will be part of the program too. And just so you know, my first interviewee, my first guest was Mary Grace Kettner, and she was amazing. And so you can also, if you go to my YouTube channel, you can see her interview there and all the other story tips that I'm releasing every Wednesday. So that was my publicity of the day. Let's go into stories. And I was thinking about telling a spooky story. Okay, cool. And this story actually comes from La República Dominicana, but for you guys, it'll be the Dominican Republic, which is an island in the Caribbean. And the capital of the Dominican Republic is Santo Domingo. And that's all you need to know. And in Santo Domingo, in La República Dominicana, the Dominican Republic, what language do you think they speak? What? Spanish, of course, not Russian, it's the Spanish. Which is why you'll be hearing some Spanish, but no worries. I will immediately translate for you so you don't get lost. Sounds good? Awesome. So the name of this story is Pedrito and the Laughing Skull. A long time ago, the streets of Santo Domingo were at peace. But one day, something very unusual happened right there where the Santo Domingo convent and the church meet. In the highest part of a 7 feet tall wall, there was an empty niche, an empty hole on the wall that disappeared the moment the bricks fell off. Now the niche had not always been empty. Inside of it, a skull had rested. Some said that it belonged to a man that changed love for a bad plan. Well, during the day, the sun ray lights touch the skull, making it look like a ghostly headstone. And at night, a lantern hanging above the niche lit up the skull every day at 6. Below the skull, there was an inscription that sounded more like a superstition. Traveler passing by, fix your eyes on me. What you are, I was once. What I am, you will be. Well, nothing happened for a long time until one night, a man who excelled in the art of stealing got a fright that changed his feelings. As the thief walks under the niche, he heard an unsettling squeaking pitch. The man stopped and slowly looked back. A frightening skull smiled back. And then the skull began to nod up and down, as if saying, I'll see you around. A cold chill went down the man's spine. He knew he was out of line. He tried to walk away, but curiosity made him stop and look back again. This time the skull was not inside to side, side to side, as if saying, I won't let it slide. Well, the thief dropped the bag of coins he had stolen that same day, fleeing and promising to embrace better ways. Oh, yeah. After that, rumors spread all across town about a menacing skull that was laughing at them all. Those with remorse, with guilt, they found a different course. Not even the innocent dared to approach it, afraid their wives will reproach it. Oh, many swore the skull could see through their souls, sometimes nodding up and down, as if saying, I'll see you around. Other times nodding side to side, side to side, as if saying, I won't let it slide. Oh, yes, imprudent and brave fellows dared to test the odds, later saying that the skull had chattered and squeaked. Oh, dear God. Oh, believe me, many bet their inheritance on the credibility of that skull, but those who came close ran astray like most. Now, Pedrito, he was only 12 years old, and although he knew about the skull, he couldn't care at all. The truth is that many thought that Pedrito was a fool, and pranking him would make them look cool. So one day, a police sergeant decided to play a prank on the boy and said, Pedrito, si te atreves a enfrentar la calavera, te daré una pelota que vuela. If you dare to face the skull, I might give you a bouncing ball. The mission, as the sergeant called it, stated that Pedrito had to face the skull for a minute without crying, flinching, or blinking. Well, the very next day, Pedrito went to get himself a ladder, and he waited until nightfall to solve that matter. At midnight, Pedrito walked towards the street where the Santo Domingo convent and the church meet, closely followed by the sergeant and a very scared soldier whose last name was Remales. Too bad. Well, both men placed the ladder against the wall, while Pedrito began to climb up, afraid to fall. But then the sergeant said, Pedrito, que no te dé miedo, si no le doy la pelota a Alfredo. If you're afraid, boy, I will throw the bouncing ball away. Pedrito swallowed the fear, and he climbed up until the last step. Ay, Pedrito got the goosebumps. The skull was staring at him from 2 empty halls. But again, the sergeant had something to say. Estoy contando el minuto. Ahora, si te atreves a tocar la calavera, quizás te dé una pelota de madera. I'm counting the minute, boy. Now, if you dare to touch the skull, I might throw another toy. Be brave, boy, and you will have it all. So Pedrito stretched out his arms. But the skull jumped out of his hands, and a mouse flew in the air. Quite scared. In the commotion, the skull landed in the sergeant's hands, while the flying mouse dove into the soldier's pants. Oh, both men were screaming, Ayuda, ayuda, help, help. They were running around in circles. It was a circus. Well, in the confusion, the sergeant fled the scene, promising never to play a prank that could backfire at him. As for the soldier who still had a mouse in his pants, well, he began to do a tap dance. Meanwhile, Pedrito went down the ladder, not really understanding what the whole fuss was about. I mean, all this time, a mouse had made the skull his house. Duh. These adults, always acting like nuts. But one thing he was sure about. Next day, he was going to have a new bouncing ball and a new toy to play. What an easy bargain he had made, just by being brave. And that, my friends, is the very end. Yay! That wasn't scary, right?
That was amazing. Carolina, I can imagine scary stories coming out of that sweet, sweet voice of yours. You are amazing. Thank you so much. Now, make sure you get to Carolina's Facebook page, go to her YouTube, make sure that you subscribe, and YouTube can get the gift of Carolina. She has something for everybody, and she's doing amazing things, and we cheer you on, and we have your back. We love you so much. Thank you so much, Carolina.
I know, Sue,
Okay.
and I wouldn't be what I am if it wasn't because of all my Texan friends and the San Antonio Storytellers Association. You guys got me here. You gave me the opportunities, and well, you just, whatever crazy idea I had, you signed up for it too.
We did. Yes, and it took us far, so thank you. It takes a team, and she led it for quite a while. Thank you so much. Okay, well, we're going to move on. I want to make sure everyone can hear me. Our next storyteller is also a very good friend of mine. I feel like I've grown up with this young man, even though he's my age. I'm trying to remember
think
who's
I know.
older. He may be a few months older than me, or I may be a few months older than Mark Babino, but we met in our 20s as early storytellers, and our kids were little, and they've all left us now. I guess that means that we're old, Mark, but he has grown with his storytelling, and he came from a teaching background, and of course his kids have prospered because of his storytelling and unbelievable writing skills. And you two right now will get to hear Mark tell one of my favorite tales that he does bring out every once in a while. And the name of his story is Miss Fanny Rollins of Pear Orchard, USA. Show some shiny hands for Mark Babino.
Okay, am I on? Am I on? Okay, good. The story is by John Henry Falk, and Sue, you just gave glowing introductions for everybody, and she starts talking about my age. So thank you for that. How special I am. It just kind of went on and on. So here we go. I'm a little rusty with the story because I haven't told it in a long time, but it's one of my favorites. Near from back where I'm from, there's a small town known as Pear Orchard. Actually, there's not much to Pear Orchard. It's just an ordinary little town. It's located somewhere near between El Paso and Texarkana. The Chamber of Commerce down there has a motto, Pear Orchard, USA, the biggest little town in the country. Now, some people might say it's typical of the silent majority. Well, it might be typical of the majority, but there ain't nothing silent about it. The first time I visited the place, I found a new friend while looking for a rocking chair. The local furniture store clerk told me they didn't stock them no more. But if I went out to Miss Fanny Rollins, she might have one that she didn't have no more use for. When I arrived at her mailbox, I could see a long oleander bordered walkway with a front porch leading all the way up to a country farmhouse. A woman was sitting on the porch swing, taking up room for 4 people. That capacious soul was spread all over that swing, with her arms resting across her ample bosom, which went all the way back to her backbone, just like a hen fixing to fly off a low roof. Howdy do, ma'am. I'm looking for Miss Fanny Rollins. She said, honey, you better get yourself some eyes. I've been accused of a heap of things, but being small being invisible ain't one of them. Have a chair. Sit down. That little rocker? No, I don't want to sell it. It's a nice one, though. Funny you mention it. My daughter-in-law, Bertha Mae Gervis's wife, she was over here the other day asking for it. Of course, I can't fit in it at all. It would take 3 of them to hold me. Bertha Mae. Oh, that's a sweet girl. And talented, too. Folks don't know it, but she can rub her stomach and pat her head and recite all the books of the Bible backwards and stop in the middle to whistle a spiritual. Even preachers can't do that. All her family was talented that way. Her oldest brother, Fred, he was one-armed. I don't know how he lost that arm. It was either in a hay baler or a car accident. But I know it was an accident. He didn't do it on purpose. He had a 1952 pickup truck and a double hernia. And he could train dogs like I never seen. He had an old blue tick hound, Scooter. Old Scooter was 3-legged. You know, when folks would often say, I wonder why God left a hind leg off of that dog. You know, God has a purpose. Most dogs, you know, have to slow down, sniff around the bush. Scooter, he barely had to pause. He'd do his business and go. But Fred had him trained to carry a milk bucket You know, Fred being only one-armed, it could only carry one bucket of milk at one time. He trained Scooter to carry the other. Wouldn't spill a drop. It got to the point where Fred could say, Scooter, the wood pile is empty. And Scooter, he would get up, go trotting out to the wood pile on 3 legs, get a mouthful of kindling, come back and drop it in the wood pile. You know, it's a funny thing. I give Scooter a heap of credit, but not for good judgment when it comes to dynamite and wood. You see, they had this road construction crew out there one day, and Scooter came trotting out, and he picked up a stick of dynamite, came back, and dropped it in the wood box. And Fred, being absent-minded, he stuck it in the stove. I'll say this. It was as interesting a funeral as I'd ever seen. Never found nothing to Fred, only his left shoe, and his foot was still in it. So they went out to Cartwright's funeral parlor, and they asked for a left-footed coffin. Well, Cartwright said they didn't stock them. Well, they went back and forth for the longest time, and they settled on buying the whole coffin. I thought it was amusing myself to see a coffin big enough for a whole corpse with just a left foot in it. But below, all that family was talented that way. Take that little old Annie Lee. Oh, that was a sweet thing. But she had a lot of tragedy. She was about 13 years old when she went out to the barn to milk the cow. A thunderstorm come up and strike her right between the eyes. It soured both buckets of milk. Electricity is strange. It gave that child such a terrible headache. At first, I thought that was all it did, but it turned out to have straightened her hair. Oh, bless her little heart. She tried everything to get it curly. She put it up in those paper curlers and she let it stay up there for 36 days in a row for a trial run. She took the curlers out, run the comb through it, and it still came out straight as horsehair. Of course, that ain't all I can do. It flattened that child's chest. Well, honey, I ain't talking about flat chested. I'm talking she was iron bowed flat chested. But she went on to town and she got her a job working at the state highway department, saved her money, and she bought her a pair of those foam rubber bosoms. Oh, it changed her whole outlook on life from the front. Annie Lee, it got to where she started coming to church twice on Sundays, even started singing in the Methodist choir. And she had no more voice than a white leghorn pullet. But it was all because of those bosoms. And she started coming to our quitting parties every Friday. We had a little old Methodist preacher named Brother Walker. He'd stand there while we quilt and hoorahing with us ladies. Annie Lee, she was sitting at the back at the frame behind me. Brother Walker, he was laughing and chatting, and then all of a sudden, his jaw went slack and sweat appeared on his brow. His eyes rolled back in his head. I thought, well, he must be having a fainting spell. I said, Brother Walker, are you well? He never answered me at all. He just grabbed the doorknob and walked straight through the door, mumbling, oh, Lord, oh, Lord. Well, I turned my eyes to see the occasion for the whole thing. Annie Lee was using that left bosom as a pincushion. She had taken that number 9 needle and ran it clear through from one side to the other. Annie Lee, she kept on using them bosoms until she found Toxie Taylor and married him. But she still had a lot of tragedy, honey. Toxie was sitting out on the railroad one day just thinking of something when the Katy Flyer came through at 700 miles an hour and hit him. I say hit him. It exploded him. One minute he was just sitting there, and the next he was a puff of mist floating over the field. They estimated that his remainders took about 2.5 acres. His family, they leased about 4 acres for the funeral, just to be on the safe side. All the pallbearers, they had a turn at the plow. Brother Culpepper, he came all the way from Liberty Hill. He said it was the largest funeral he ever did preach. Acreage, right? You know, Brother Culpepper always know the right thing to say. You know, he preached Papa's funeral. Papa passed away sitting in that little chair where you are right there. He had such a quiet passing. I didn't even know that he was gone, to tell the truth. One afternoon, I was shelling black-eyed peas and just sitting and chittering and chattering, and every once in a while he'd grunt. And after a while, I looked up and he wasn't grunting anymore. I looked up and there he was. His head had just leaned forward. He was gone. He had such a quiet pass. His head just hung there, leaning forward. Sue, I can see you, honey. Go ahead, just lean your head forward. And now let it hang up there. Just like that. I always said that I ain't no scientist, but if it had been a straight chair, Papa would have come out of that and I would have known that he was dead. Straight chair can't hold no corpse. That's the reason, honey. I wouldn't sell it for anything in the world. It's got sentimental value. I sure hope y'all enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed telling it to you. Thank you much.
Oh my gosh. Mark, you had me crying there.
Well,
that was amazing.
I'm happy because I haven't told it so long, and I couldn't play off anybody but you, Stu, so I could tell you enjoyed it. So that really helped me seeing you. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank God I went to the hairdresser and you didn't see all my gray, so there we go.
And I shaved.
Oh, you were amazing. Oh, I needed that laugh. I didn't do my abs today. This was perfect. Thank you so much, Mark. That was fabulous.
Thank you for having me. I'm enjoying it as well.
You bet. All right. We have one more teller and then possibly a closing story, just depending on the time. Yet again, another great friend, thank God, who made it down from Dallas as quickly as she could to move here in San Antonio area. And I'm just making that up because I know all you Dallas folks miss Marianne Blue very, very much. But we are so grateful she's here. As many of you know, Marianne is so active with storytelling in general. She is just fantastic. She was one of the people in charge of the Tejas Storytelling Festival, along with Tony Simmons. And, that lasted a day and a half of just wonderful stories. It was fabulous this past year. She's always been involved with Tejas since the very beginning. She's also a member of the San Antonio Storytellers, and she's just recently retired from teaching here in San Antonio at St. Mary's Hall. She's fabulous, and without further ado, I would love for Marianne to come tell her story. Show some hands for Marianne Blue.
Yay!
And then I'll mute myself.
I have to tell you, the first time I ever heard the story that Mark just told, I heard John Henry Falk tell it at the Texas Storytelling Festival, the year that we made the we gave the John Henry Falk Award its name. He came, and it was like I was hearing my mother and my aunt talking about people in our community in Palestine, Texas. And when I heard him open his mouth, I thought, that's my aunt saying, well, you know, she's one of the Babcocks. You remember them. Now, the Babcocks, they had that, you know, they had that grandfather that he drank too much. Remember that time that he wandered off and none of us knew where he was. And it wasn't until Melvin Flogart found him over by the creek. And, oh, Melvin Flogart, remember him? Remember what happened to him? The time that his mother, she forgot where she was and they went looking for her and it took them 2 weeks. See, I know those people. They are my people. So when I first heard that story, I thought, oh my God in heaven, I love John Henry Falk. And it was so good to hear that story again, Mark. I loved it. Someday I should write a story based on my kinfolk and the things that my mother used to. We would go to visit every summer, and when she and her sisters started, we're not gossiping, we're reminiscing, and there was a difference. So someday I need to put a story together about their reminiscing, because I loved that so much. It was just music to my ears to hear that story. Sue asked me if I would tell a story that I just love, and it's this time of year because the cicadas are starting to come out. In Spanish, we call them the chicharras. And anytime I have a bug question, I go to my friend, Gene Helmick Richardson, because he knows everything about bugs. He's a bug man. And he told me that the cicadas, they all stay down under the ground in the larva stage for a certain length of time. And it all depends on where they live. Around here, it's 6, 7, 8 years, something like that. In other parts of the country, it's 16 or 17 years. And this summer is one of those 16 or 70 years. I think it's the Yankees. I think they're the ones who get this 16 or 70 year thing. And we all get it. And here in Texas, it's every summer. Every summer, it seems like, oh, this is the year of the cicadas, because they start coming out. And they're out at Sue's house now. They're not out here yet. They will get here. And they are, in the heat of the summer, they are the loudest insect there is. They love the heat, and they love loud music because it's a time of sex for them. And this is their story. This is a story shared by several cultures. I first heard it in Mexico. Then I heard it as a Native American story in New Mexico. But it's a story that's universal. Once there was a cicada. Her name was Chicharra. She sat in her tree and she sang. Up in the tree, cicada is singing. Cicada is singing. Up in the tree. En el árbol, chicharra canta. Chicharra, chicharra, canta ya. Down the road came Coyote. Whoa, Chicharra, I like that song. Me gusta la canción. I need for you to sing it to me. All right, I can sing it to you once. Up in the tree, cicada is singing. Cicada is singing. Up in the tree. En el árbol, chicharra canta. Chicharra, chicharra, canta ya. Now you try it, Coyote. All right, I will. Now there's something you need to know about Coyote. Señor Coyote no puede cantar. He can't sing. He can't sing a note. He can't even carry a tune in a bucket. So it sounded kind of like this. Oh, en el árbol, chicharra canta. Chicharra canta. How was that? Oh, Señor Coyote, that needs a lot of work. Let's see what we can do about that. I'll start, and then you join in with me, and we'll see how that goes. How does that sound, Señor Coyote? Okay. En el árbol, chicharra canta. Come on, Señor Coyote. En el árbol, chicharra canta. Chicharra, chicharra canta ya. I did it. You certainly did, Señor Coyote, and I don't think it's going to get much better than that. Why don't you just go on home, Señor Coyote? So Señor Coyote started down the road for home, trying to sing Chicharra's song. En el árbol, chicharra canta. And it went pretty well until he stepped in the rabbit hole. Chicharra, chicharra, and he fell right in the rabbit hole. I think I broke my foot. Somebody called 911. Wait a minute. ¿Cómo se canta la canción? How does that song go? Chicharra canta. Oh no, that rabbit has made me forget that song. I guess I better go back and make her sing it again. So we went back down the path. Chicharra saw him coming. Señor Coyote, I thought you went home. Well, I tried to go home, but there was this rabbit dug a hole right where I'd fall in it and made me forget my song. You're going to have to sing it again. Okay, Señor Coyote, una vez más, one more time. En el árbol, chicharra canta. Chicharra, chicharra, canta. I got it. And off he went back down the road. Well, you know, there are some people who learn from their mistakes, and he was paying more attention. He was keeping his eyes open. He was looking where he was going, but he wasn't looking for the little things, and he just never noticed the fire ants. En el árbol, oh, Señor Coyote. By the time he got those ants off of him, you know what the problem was? He couldn't remember the song. Well, let's go back and make her sing it again. So he went back down the road. What he didn't know was that Chicharra, she was fed up to hear with Señor Coyote and his bad manners, and she wasn't going to sing it again. In fact, Chicharra had decided to play a little trick on Coyote. Now, you know about those cicadas. They have a shell, and she split that shell open, and she climbed out of it, And she got a little rock the same size that she was. And she put that rock in the shell. And then she closed up the shell, sealed it with a little pine tar, so it looked like she was in it, clutching onto the side of the tree. Then she went, she hid down under the ground and waited for Coyote to come back. Pretty soon, Senor Coyote came back down that road. Chichara! I was walking down the road. I got these fire ants all over me. By the time I got them off, I couldn't remember that song. Now, you get down here and sing it to me. Chicharra, didn't you hear me? I said, get out here and sing it. Okay, Chicharra. I'm counting. By the time I get to 4, you better be down here. 1, 2, 3. Ándale, Chicharra, 4. He grabbed Chicharra off the branch of that tree. He popped her into his mouth. Senor Coyote bit down as hard as he could. Ow! Ow, ow, ow. Pobre Coyote. He broke off all the teeth in the back of his mouth. He went running down to the river to get a drink of water. Oh. Chicharra, she was loving every minute of it down there under the ground, listening to all of it. Till she thought about it. Senor Coyote would be back. And when he got back, Senor Coyote would be mad. Woo! So maybe she better just stay put. And so, my friends, that's what Chicharra, the cicada, did. She hides down under the ground for years and years at a time, waiting for Senor Coyote to show up. But sometimes, in the heat of the summer, she crawls up out of the ground. She hooks her claws into the tree. She splits open her shell and she flies up into the top of the tree. And there she sings more loudly than any other insect in the summer, just to make Coyote mad. You wait for her. You'll hear her this summer. Wait till the heat comes, and you will know her song. En el árbol, chicharra, canta, chicharra, 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 canta, yeah. And that's the story of Coyote and Chicharra.
Yeah. Woo! That was amazing. I wish I could open up my
Gracias.
windows. Oh my goodness. Everyone would be able to hear them. And if
Well,
I
they
opened up
are
my
not
door,
at my neighborhood yet, but I know they will be.
well, I bet you they've hit Tim's Canyon Lake area also, because he's just right down the street. And my dogs will come in with these 6 legs sticking out of their mouths. They're not eating them. They're just listening. You know, they're like little rattles. So they get to hear their little wings inside the, anyway, lots of protein. And what a wonderful story to end with. Thank you so much. All 4 tellers, you were spectacular. I want you, just those 4 tellers, I want you to wave your hands up in the air. You all 4 of y'all, you all were amazing. And I want to make sure everyone knows who they are again. Larry Thompson, who's outside. Larry, tip your hat to everybody. totally amazing. Thank you so much, Larry. Carolina, and I know on chat we have Carolina's Facebook page, so make sure you check all that out. And then we also had Mark Babino, who made me run all my mascara down my face. Your fault, Mark. Good job. And of course, Marianne Blue. The best of the best, you heard it from them. I want to make sure before we're all unmuted, because we just have a few moments, make sure that you were here. We want your handprint so we can brag to everyone. So if you have not already written your name in the chat box, all you need to do is move your little cursor around on your screen and you'll see chat on the bottom. If you click on that, there should be like a little message window, and you can go ahead and type in who you are and where you're from. And if you would like us to contact you for the next storytelling session that we have, we will do that through email. You can always check our Facebook page. Just go to San Antonio Storytellers. We will always meet the first Wednesday of every month. So we will be back in July. Whether it's going to be Zoom or at the library, I'm not sure. I'm going to assume Zoom. I really like this. I love the faces that are really kind of up close. I didn't know I could do that.
It's kind of nice, isn't it? Sue, I think I'm still unmuted. I want to tell everybody something. In November, I had hand surgery. I had a couple of tendons in my hand that ruptured, and they had to restring my whole hand, like restringing a tennis racket. So tonight was the first time I played the spoons since Carolina. You remember how I was having the problems at the hemisphere? Well, it got worse and it got worse, and I had to have surgery that very next week. So this is the first time since the 1st of November that I have played the spoons, and it felt really good to play them again.
Oh, well, that's amazing. I want to thank each and every one of you. I do know our other host, John, will probably cut this off in a couple minutes. That way we can actually have a great end of this, and we will have it recorded. It's either going to be on YouTube Live. It was either on YouTube Live or Facebook Live. I'm not sure which. John, which one are we doing? John Hale.
We're actually doing a Zoom recording, so we can post it after we edit a little bit and put it on YouTube or Facebook.
Oh, okay. Sounds great. All right. Well, thank you again to all of you. And again, if you wanted to leave a message on chat, do so. It's wonderful for the storytellers to know what you thought of the stories, and all the guilds. Thank you for being here. We just love and adore every one of you, and your stories count. Keep telling them. And John Hale, thank you so much for hosting. And Karen and Mary Grace, thank you all so much. It certainly takes a village. Until next time, we'll see you in July.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, Jan.
Zoom out here.
There. Good to see you all. It's
Bye.
Oh,
Good to see you, Jan.
Thanks
Good
for
to see you,
the
Marianne.
invite, Sue.
Carolina, are you gone? Hey, Carolina. Hey, Mary Grace.
Hi.
There you are, Carolina.
Hi, Tim. Hey, Rick.
So cool.
Hi, Jay.
Good to see you. Is Elizabeth gone? Ah, there you are. Hey, guys. It was wonderful being part of your
Good to see
guild.
everybody.
Thank you for sharing with us all. Yeah. Can we say good night? Millie, you want to say good night?
Good night.
We want to go to your guild. Tim's guild is going to be having a session, so watch his emails and his Facebook page, because his guild's doing a Zoom also at our library here, so it'll be fun.
Oh, good. Very good. We'll watch for that. We do our usual meeting and then we do our people sign up to tell. So we don't, I mean, we haven't ever done, is this how you usually do your meeting with set tellers? No, that was.
No, we
Not
don't.
usually.
We actually have anyone who wants to tell, but we wanted to try to keep it at an hour this time. And
Yes.
we wanted definitely 4 tellers and to see how that went.
Very, very
And,
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you. How nice to be in your homes with you.
Jan, do you all do your things Zoom?
Yes.
Send me the thing. I'd love to come
Okay.
and see everybody. I miss you all
Certainly.
so much.
Okay, very good. We will. We'll make sure you're on the list.
Good.
Lovely.
Su-
Good night,
Susanna,
all.
David.
Night.
Glad
Bye.
y'all are here. Bye, Susie. Bye, David. Bye, everybody.
Adios, todos.
Adios.
Stay Jan.
Adios.
Bye.
Cuídense bien.
Take care,
Take
everyone.
care.
All right.